Hello Leslie.
Hello Jane.
Could you just explain to me perhaps what processes you use currently for monitoring and evaluation?
Okay, at the moment what we tend to do is that for all the different sessions that we actually do, so mostly around the sports projects that we do and also the singing, we have attendance registers, and so that we know who's coming.
Yeah.
Obviously, payments as well, because we want our projects to feel valued, so we've always said that to be valued there needs to be just a small nominal payment,
Yeah.
so we check on that as well. And what we're trying to do is also get a sense of the types of people that are coming along, perhaps looking at their reasons for coming as well. We'll also look at audience numbers, the types of people that have come along, and get their idea of what they've actually seen. At the moment it's very kind of vague. I feel that sometimes it's not as specific as it needs to be, and so there needs to be a lot more done to make the forms user-friendly for us, but also to make sure that we're getting out of the actual monitoring the information that we would need to present to funders, or more importantly I think the information that we need to help us to grow and to make things better for the people that come along and use our services.
How would you use all that evidence, that monitoring?
At the moment it tends to be taken from whichever project and filed away until we need it for a funding bid,
Okay.
or something like that. And I think we're just more and more aware now of its value in terms of what we're doing weekly and perhaps monthly, and to try to somehow make better use of that information. What we're doing well, of course, because everyone wants to know what they're doing well, but I think we need to also focus on perhaps the things we're not doing quite as well, or the things that we could do a lot better. And by using those forms more regularly, and I suppose in a way it's about keeping checks and balances.
Do you think when you do those sorts of things that the people who've come, say, to the sporting event or the concerts actually value the opportunity to say somehow what they've got out of it?
Yeah, I think definitely, because it means that they've gone from just being a spectator to someone who's actually participating.
Right.
And at the end of the day I think people like to be asked for their opinions on things, and it's also, I think, can sometimes give them a sense of ownership. It's our club, it's our singing group, and you know, our opinions are valued.
What would happen if you discovered through your evaluation that something wasn't going quite so well?
I think it would be a case of bringing it to the very next steering committee meeting and pointing out that, you know, this is the evaluation that's come back, and just being honest and open about, you know, what's occurred. First of all, I think it's about encouraging people to get away from that blame culture. At the end of the day, the evaluation and monitoring isn't about blaming somebody because something's gone wrong. I see it very much as a tool to enable you to put things right. So I think the first step is to understand what's happened and look at ways and things that you can do to make sure it doesn't happen again. Which can be sometimes quite difficult. People don't like to be criticised. People have a sense of pride in what they're trying to achieve. So sometimes that can be seen as a bit of a negative. But I think if the way that you talk to your colleagues about the importance of evaluation and monitoring, and they come to the realisation that it's to benefit them, it's to benefit the project, and certainly to benefit the people that are taking part, I think they're more open to the idea of, yes, you know, we have to be honest here, this isn't working. These are the reasons why it's not working, and these are the things we can put in place together to make them work better in the future, and then to make things better overall.
And have you taken that kind of process to funders if you need to sort of say, you know, actually we need to just readjust what we're doing in order to fit what we have discovered from the project? How do you think that would go down?
I would like to think that the funders would really appreciate the honesty, because at the end of the day they've entrusted funds to you to, you know, enable you to have all the outcomes that you said you were looking for in the first place. So I think they would appreciate the honesty, and just by having an extra pair of ears to actually hear the problem could help you solve it as well. So I think, you know, what you have to not shy away from is sharing the bad things as well as the good things. And I think in this particular climate as well, I think it's about building that stronger relationship with your funders anyway, so that they know that they can rely on you and trust you.
And there you talked about honesty, you talked about trust, you talked about being vulnerable as well. How do those kind of characteristics, which are very precious if we can use them, sort of play out of the faith values of the project.
I think the faith ethos of what we're trying to do is to bring everybody together and to create something absolutely wonderful that everybody can take part in. And so I think, you know, the honesty and the trust and everything else is a valuable part of that. And I think the way that it plays out for us as a faith community is that understanding that, you know, we respect each other's views and each other's spaces. But having said that, you still have to have that honesty there to enable you to move forward together. And I think particularly in the projects where we work so closely with those of other faiths, it's that shared kind of value that we have overall that must take main stage.
What would you like to see in terms of the evaluation and the monitoring that enables this project to go forward and to try new things or to develop and embed the things that are already happening?
I personally think for us and our projects, what we need to do is to revisit all our monitoring and evaluation forms and to make sure they're actually fit for purpose. Looking at the information that is really valuable to you. So just teasing out things like, you know, what changes did you notice throughout a particular session? Was there anything about that particular session on that particular day at that particular time that struck you because it hadn't happened before? And by having space in your monitoring or evaluation form or whatever you want to call it to record those special moments is a really handy tool. You don't want to be looking back at the end of a recording period 6 months down the line and trying to remember what happened at your sessions. You need to record them as they happen. And the other thing that you can do, if you've got the form that allows you to do so, is to record the comments, the one-off comments that you get from parents at the time. So for me, I think it's about making sure that the forms give you the room to obviously record what you have to, but also there's enough room and space to record the unexpected things. And then to not just put them in a box at the end of the week and file them away for that week, but to actively look at them. Because you're there and you're in that moment and you're working, you do forget. So 3-4 months down the line, to be able to look back and say, wow, you know, in September this is where we were and this is what we're doing. It's now December and we've come so far and we've managed to do this and we've done that. I think, like you quite rightly said, sometimes the sessional leaders and the coaches are sort of the forgotten, if you know what I mean, because they're relied on to do the delivering, which they do so well. But I think it would be really good for them to look back and see their self-development as well, not just the development of the children.
It sounds on the whole as if what you'd really like to be able to do is take a little bit more control around the whole area of monitoring and evaluation, so you're not just doing what your partners or your funders want, but actually you're using it primarily for the benefit of your organisation.
Definitely. It's become more and more apparent to us as we've started the Visible project how important it is for us, for our self-growth and for what we want to achieve, not just for outside agencies.
Yeah, and then that kind of helps to make you equal players with those outside agencies, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
And like you said, then it becomes something that you want to do because you want to see where you're going, and it doesn't become something that's just added on. Oh yes, you know, we've got to fill in the evaluation forms. It's something that you look forward to doing and look forward to discussing with your colleagues as you go through your session time.